Morning. Friday. Today is August 28th, and it's been a jam-packed couple weeks since our last episode. Yes, it's been a couple weeks for a reason of we've had a lot of celebrating to do this month, starting with my wife's birthday, then my birthday, and then our wedding anniversary, and all this falls in about a 2-week period. So we took a quick road trip to Arizona, and for a guy, fantastic birthday weekend. I got to visit 3 shops, 5 talents, which consisted of John from Gearhead Customs, Jack from Lawless Bicycles, Matt Wiggins from Refinished, which is his paint shop. Had a couple guests, Mr. Jacka from Coast to Coast Trophies, and John Sindle, who painted my frame, and the big reason why I was out there. So we talked everything. We talked custom paints, tools, you name it. It was everything a guy would want. The only thing is it was about 117 degrees the whole time we were there. And again, I've had this trip planned for a long time, and because of the pandemic, things have been getting postponed and canceled and postponed and canceled. Now my birthday weekend, I'm like, the hell with it. We're going. And again, I planned this before I knew it was going to be 117 degrees, but nonetheless, they live out there. I can handle a weekend. So we're going to show you, so I did shoot some video the whole time while I was there. I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. But before we do, we're going to talk about an amazing artist out in the Netherlands. He goes by Silak2Attack, or they call him Remco out here in the States. And he's a graffiti artist. Been painting huge murals, rattle can, and many hours, and just amazing images. And he's been heavily into the bike scene for some time and started just pulling out names from those here in the United States who he feels is making an impact on the scene or doing good things for bike life. So it all started off with T-Flow from OBC and Bobby there in Chicago, and then it went from there with Frankie and Jeffy Jeff and so on. So I received this message on my birthday because we arrived in Arizona on my birthday, and I received a message very early. I wasn't even awake yet. And I opened the message, and it's a mural of me on my birthday. And I'm like, I don't even know what to say to this. I mean, totally lost for words, touched, honored, and I thank you so much. I mean, I'm just totally blown away. I am now part of what they call the Wall Brothers, and there's a huge mural of Jimmy Peak out there in the Netherlands. So I'm going to show you some images here in just a minute. I'm going to show you Silak's page. The talent is just unbelievable. Once we get through all that, we are going to hit the shop. We're going to talk fabrication. I'm working on a rock star right now, and that's pretty much going to wrap up what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and start with those murals. Take a look at that. What'd I tell you? Absolutely amazing talent. I mean, being a graffiti artist is one thing. I'm not taking anything away from anybody, but doing murals that big of people and making it look like the person you're painting is just totally blows my mind. Just to give you an idea of the scale of those paintings, if you look back on it, you can see the rattle cans are at the base of the mural, and they look about that big. That was Silak in the video, along with his Instagram page. And if you like what you saw, follow his Instagram page and you're going to see some incredible wall art. Grateful, and I thank you once again, my friend. Moving on to day 1 of Arizona. We leave very early in the morning. We like to leave early before the sun comes up. It's still nice and cool out. It's about a 5-hour drive, and our first stop is Gearhead Customs, my good buddy John. And after spending a good few hours there, we gave my wife a tour of the shop. John and I talking tools and you name it. We went straight from Gearhead Customs to visit Jack at Lawless Bicycles. Spent some more time there. We haven't even checked into the hotel yet. I'm about to show you a video right now. I pulled it down to about a minute from that day, and after we come back from that, we'll go ahead on to day 2. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. How cool is that? Like I said, I pulled the video in about within a minute, but that was about a half a day's worth of visiting. And John's shop, I love John's shop. I mean, it's got the classic barn style and the loft upstairs, and looking down, you got like hot rods and motorcycles and just about every tool you can imagine. And John is such a good guy. We'll sit there and talk fabrication and tools all day long. Went straight from there to visit Jack at Lawless Bicycles, and again, anytime I'm in the area, Jack invites me in, and again, we're talking about fabrication and machining, and I don't even know anything about machining, but I know enough to where we talk about things that can improve the custom bicycle world, whether it's product he's already working on or something that needs to be tested out, and another solid guy. Came home with a load of stuff from both of them, and we'll go over that in future episodes. But for now, we're going to move on to day 2, which is a visit to Revival Refinishes, which is Matt Wiggins' paint shop. And again, there were a couple guests, which consisted of Mr. Jacka of Coast to Coast Trophies and John Sindle, who painted my frame, and he was there painting and using the booth at Revival Refinishes. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Get yourself some cheap sunglasses. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Spied a little thing and I followed her all night in a funky fine Levi's and her sweater's kinda tight. She had a West Coast strut that was sweet as molasses. Man, what really knocked me out was the cheap sunglasses. Oh, yeah.
So there's birthday weekend, pretty much in a nutshell, and as fast as those 2 videos went was about as fast as it felt. I mean, it just went by like boom. And then I didn't get a lot of video of people, or the people we're speaking of, and that's because everybody was being camera shy. I don't even be on camera, and outside of John Sindle in the paint booth, and he couldn't really hide, and I got that cameo shot in John's shop, and I just kind of snuck that in there. But believe me, they're there. I love Arizona. I love visiting, not so much the heat, but the people and the business, fantastic. That shot at the end of that high metal flake frame. Meanwhile, I received a couple of parting gifts from Mr. Jacka of Coast to Coast Trophies. Check these out. Peak Cycle keychains. Super stoked on these. Appreciate it, sir. If you ever need anything, whether it's trophies or plaques or acrylic, tumblers, you name it. Basically, the motto is if you want your logo on anything, they can do it. So check them out, Coast to Coast Trophies. Let's go ahead and move on to the shop. I've been working on a Rockstar frame, and I got about halfway in, and I thought to myself, I've done an episode on the Rockstar. I couldn't remember it. So I went ahead and started rolling camera. I did backtrack so you know what you're looking at and how far I've gotten and the differences between the frames and templates and so on. From that point on, I roll camera, and let's go ahead and see what's happening with Peak Cycles. Getting ready to fabricate a Rockstar frame here, of which I don't think I've done a YouTube video on yet. And you can see I got a pretty good jump on this, so I decided I'll go ahead and record the rest, and we can go over the differences. So the tail dragger Type 2, basically its stance came from the Rockstar, which is basically the head tube position, the head tube brake. The original tail dragger, the head tube position is up here on this mark. Has a longer fork, more of a chopper stance. The other major difference is the way the cantilevers come under the saddle. These roll out versus the tail dragger or Type 2 has a hard bend that comes out like this. Seat stays on the Rockstar come back down and flatten out to the dropouts here. And then we will have compound bend chain stays. Got the templates over here, and we'll go over that right now. So I've mentioned taking notes many times, and these basically are three-dimensional notes, templates that I use so I can keep things consistent. This top one here is the Rockstar of what I was referring to with the way that the cantilevers roll out versus the tail dragger or Type 2 has this hard bend, comes under the saddle. So this here basically is this end here. And you can see it's sleeved, which is this here. And that's by using this new belt sander. I love this new tool. This here's the chain stays, template for it anyway. Single piece compound bends, always fun to figure out. Down here with the JD squared. And basically will look like this. Let's go ahead and get the actual pieces cut and rolled. Keep it moving. A few episodes back, I did a segment on this pipe sander polisher made by Blue Rock Tools. The results? You tell me. And a lot less work. Let's keep it moving. Now for the tricky part. This here is a template for the chain stays. And it basically goes from straight to rolled. I'm going to cut that there so that they meet as a miter. I'll cut a single stick, roll it on both ends, cut it in half, and that'll be our seat stays. A moment ago I said that I use a single stick and roll both sides and cut it in half. Well, with this one, I lied. I actually ditched that method quite a while ago, and I used two separate sticks. And the way it's done, going from straight to rolled like this, is I have a mark, which is right there. And I start my rolling at that mark by pushing the bottle jack down gradually as the machine's rolling at the same time. That way you don't get that hard crease right here. Hit this end, hit the bottle jack down again, come back, blend it in, go back this direction, again, hit the bottle jack down on a gradual with the machine rolling, get to this end, hit it down one more time, and then blend it back in. Not easy, took me quite a few times to get that figured out, but once you do, the results are much cleaner. Well, I said it'd be a challenge, and that it is. This looks like a mess. I really dread doing this part of the frame. Every time to get these miters to meet, roll out, run even, level, even spacing down the middle. Every time, it's a challenge. But I got it. And I've got about an hour left of shop time, and I can either cap these off or move on to the compound bend chainstays. What do you guess I'm gonna do? That's right, I'm gonna cap it off and call it a day. To be continued. Aw, man, it's not done yet. Okay, here's the deal. If we continue with rolling the cameras to finish that frame, I wouldn't be able to get this video out this week. I want to make a point of having this video out this week. We will continue with that frame on the next episode, I promise. Meanwhile, this has been a very fun episode for me. I love having business partners, affiliates. Teamwork makes the dream work. Can't say enough about the talent coming out of Arizona. Good people. Gonna touch on one last thing before we sign off, and that is if you've been tuning into the Peak Cycles YouTube channel on the regular and haven't subscribed yet, please hit subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next episode. Greatly appreciated. That's pretty much gonna wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed today's version of what's happening with Peak Cycles. And until next time, make it a killer day!